Up, everybody? It is Wednesday, April 28th. We got another live episode for you guys, or if you're listening on the podcast on Thursday morning, you can imagine it's live on your way to work or whatever you may be doing right now, whatever gets you through your Thursday. Excited for another episode. Tennessee, not a ton to talk about as far as, we worked through spring practice. We got through that. We're getting closer and closer to the dog days here, but do have a baseball series this week to talk about as Tennessee welcomes Kentucky into town. Also, unfortunately, going to recap a loss last night, a tough loss. Tennessee just couldn't finish out. Gave themselves chances, just couldn't finish out.
Just didn't have it.
Nope. But losses happen. You hope they don't come in midweek, but sometimes they do. They do get a chance to bounce back, so no worries. We're also going to talk about Tennessee's newest commit, also newest signee. So we've got some recruiting news both on the transfer portal front and high school guys as well. Like I said, we are talking Tennessee welcoming Kentucky into town. And Landon, you said best NBA props. Is that what you said, or did you mean draft props? I swear when we talked this morning, or not draft props. Yeah, you did say draft props. Are we doing NBA or are we doing draft?
I was going to do draft. Did I say NBA somewhere else?
Yeah. In whatever I have, it says NBA, but good thing I did draft. So we're good. It's only our outline that's on a different page. We're on the same page, so we're good.
Okay, cool.
No harm, no foul.
Yeah, NFL draft. Sorry.
You're good. Okay, so then we've also, hey, if you got questions, drop them in the chat. Tell us where you're listening from, all that good stuff. And hey, we don't have a ton to talk about this episode. So if you ever wanted to get us going, do it this time. We're going to talk about what you want to talk about.
The tangents are going to be flying.
Exactly.
The rabbit holes. Yeah, just get it in here. Would love to hear what y'all have to ask.
Let's talk conspiracies.
Absolutely. We love that. Love geography. So those are some topics of interest to kind of spark you a little bit. Also, guys, go check out our sponsors, Tennessee Tap House, Hound Dogs, and Blue Water Climbing Control. Here's a quick word from our good friends at Blue Water Climbing Control.
People always ask, where did we get the name Blue Water Climate Control? When a Navy ship casts off lines, exits the harbor, and loses sight of land, that's blue water sailing. It takes a team of people to do that. Tireless work, focus, and attention to detail. So much of starting a business is just like that. After it's done, you get filled with deep satisfaction for accomplishing something. And it's quickly followed by, now the real work begins. We're Blue Water Climate Control.
Guys, let's get into this episode. Like I said, hey, drop those questions in the chat. We'll get going right from the top of the show. And hey, stay with us. We'll see you guys on the other side of this. Hear from some legendary Vols. They want to tell you guys about how great this show is.
Vols are back.
Yeah, they had us the first half. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, could be Wayne.
I think I got my swagger back. Oh.
I love it, baby.
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins. Got it by Tennessee to one Jennings. Jennings makes the catch.
We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now.
I made up my mind. I don't expect to ever look back. I'm going to stay at the University of Tennessee.
Reddit did to do, and welcome into More Important Issues. It is Wednesday, April 28th. Hope everybody's had a good week so far. Last night, if you're a Tennessee baseball fan, obviously it's tough. But hey, what's it good being a Tennessee fan if you don't have a little up and down roller coaster throughout the week?
Yeah, we can't just win every game.
Exactly. It wouldn't be fun. It wouldn't be what being a Tennessee fan's all about. We're not here to win championships. We're here to be miserable, and that's what we do best.
We're thriving.
Hey, can I say this too to kick off the show? I cannot wait for the tweets after Heupel's gone, being like, oh, our team the entire time just played softball.
Oh, yeah.
Or dodgeball or whatever. Pick one.
Yeah. I mean, we're always going to look up something. We're going to find something to complain about. So yeah.
But it's always after he's gone. Like everyone right now is like, oh, I'm just so glad that the team's having fun. I love that. They didn't have fun under Jeremy Pruitt. Like guys, I mean, if we're going to call what they're doing is fun, they did play paintball. Turns out it was a recruiting violation, but they did. I mean, they did that.
I can't believe we haven't seen more of like, oh, why are we playing softball? We should be out recruiting.
Yeah, I think it's because fans are miserable or were miserable. Now we're kind of like fans are having fun. We're like, oh yeah, let's play softball.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm also shocked at the amount of dudes that slid in shorts.
Yeah, not the smartest. I know they take good care of that field over there, but yeah, not something I want to do in shorts.
Yeah, that's still it's still gonna leave some burns, no doubt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a couple strawberries a day, probably some cortisone. Probably put on some strawberries.
Jeff Harrison said 46 in recruiting, top 15. Here we come. I like it. That's a great outlook. I do want to point out though,
we are top 15 in the SEC.
Nice. We were told last year that we can't be excited about recruiting rankings this early, so we can't be mad about them either. All right, let's pump the brakes there too. It's definitely not Tennessee football's finest moments, but I mean, I guess a good. I don't want to kick it off there unless you just want to go completely off. Let's start. We'll start on their transfer portal recruiting side, even though, again, I'm not very excited about this one. But it is officially official. It was announced that he had committed. Then he said it was down to Tennessee and Washington State. Now he's officially official.
Well, we looked it up last.
Yeah, we broke news Sunday. You're right.
And he was enrolled. So unless there's some other Joe Milton
that enrolled in the summer.
Exactly.
I forgot about that. I'm thank you for jogging my memory.
Yeah.
We did break that news, but I just don't understand it. And I think a lot of people are like, I think this shows Heupel doesn't have faith in the quarterbacks he has, in the room on campus right now. And I mean, I do kind of got to agree with that, but I mean, watching Joe Milton, you're like, I don't think he's the best. I think he's fourth on the roster based on what we know.
Yeah. I mean, I think like the skill set's there. You saw it in the first game. I mean, Michigan thought that they found their savior that first game of the season against Minnesota when they won that game 49-24. He had 225 yards, a touchdown, and was, I think, 68% of his passes he completed. He was 15 of 22. They thought, and he had 52 rushing yards for a touchdown. I mean, they thought that he was the next Tom Brady.
Well, he might be the next Michigan Tom Brady. That's still a toss-up. I guess, yeah. But just what we know now, it's like, I think there's other needs. Yes, Tennessee needs a quarterback, sure. But, I mean, you only can get so many transfers. It's like, this seems like a waste of time and space. And, I mean, hey, I would love to eat my words. I would love for Joe Milton to be the X factor Tennessee needed in 2021. But it's just like, there's other needs to address. This one just seems interesting. Yeah. I think it has less to do with Joe Milton than it does just Tennessee's roster. And it's like, I don't know. You didn't get me fired up for it. I know that.
Yeah, I mean, he does have a big arm. He is a former 4-star recruit from that Orlando area. I think he went to Olympia High School, which is kind of a powerhouse in that area. But this is like, I thought about it today. Like, this is the only quarterback that Josh Heupel has brought into this roster. So I think that has something to say for it. And so if we're going to trust in Josh Heupel's offense, I think you have to trust in his ability to develop a quarterback.
I'm not doubting that. It's with what you have currently and what you need and how you have to address their needs within the transfer portal and the limit on how many people you can bring in. It just is an interesting move.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't disagree. I just think I think he has two years of eligibility. So I think like the potential's there.
I'm not doubting that. That's not what I'm arguing. And I think even more so, like, to the point of like people being like, I think it means Josh Heupel doesn't trust his quarterbacks. I think it would mean that if Josh Heupel was in year 2 or year 3 or year 4, sure. In year 1, to your point, it's a guy that he went out and got. So I don't know if it necessarily means that because he's only seen these quarterbacks practice 15 times, 13 times, however many it ended up being. So I mean, I don't think it's as telling since it's his first spring. I mean, he's never even seen Joe Milton practice. For him to just come in and be the number one guy just because Josh Heupel brought him in, that I don't believe that either. But yeah, it's just I think I would be putting all of my transfer portal efforts currently, if I was Josh Heupel, into finding bodies on the defensive side of the ball.
And that's why I think it kind of tells you a little about a little bit of what he thinks of the quarterback he has currently.
Maybe. I mean, maybe. I don't know. How can you properly – I don't know. I think it would tell you that in year 2 or 3, but his first spring practice –
because when you look at the bodies, it's not your biggest need. There's no way.
No, it's not even close.
And unless, like, it's that bad.
But, I mean, wasn't that kind of like the selling point for Heupel is – he can kind of do more with less at quarterback.
Yeah, and maybe he wants to maximize that talent. So you add somebody with some experience and see who you can get, who emerges, and kind of weed out the weak from there. I don't know. I don't know the exact thought process, but
and you mentioned Joe Milton being from Orlando. Did they have a relationship before? Because I think again, I'm not buying that. I just have a hard time believing Josh Heupel saw this roster and the first thing he thought was, holy shit, we need a quarterback. And went out and got Joe Milton as the answer to the questions.
That's a good point. I didn't really put the Orlando connection in there. Let me see if
I still just don't. I don't think. I think if Josh Heupel really thought he needed a quarterback, I mean, I don't know who's sitting out on there on transfers, but it just I would think that Joe Milton's probably not the number one transfer quarterback. He may be. I just have a hard time believing that. And I'm not saying Tennessee can get the number one, but you at least swing for him. No, like you wait and maybe see where he's going. So I don't know. It's like, did Tennessee have a real shot at JT Daniels last year? Who knows? Kind of thought so, but maybe not looking at it later. But it just I don't know. Again, it's a weird situation. I would be shocked if he's your starter, and maybe not. We talked about this. We joked about this last episode. Maybe even with Eric Kane, he might start one game, but I don't see him as your starter against Bowling Green.
Yeah, probably not. As of now, you go through spring. I mean, he has a summer to kind of catch up, and from what we've seen so far, it looks like this offense has been a learning adjustment for some of those quarterbacks. So, yeah, I think it'll be difficult to pick it up in the summer and expect to come out and start the first game. And, I hope that's not promised to the kid for coming here. And I doubt it because, like, it didn't work at Michigan. He got beat out. He started off pretty hot in his first in the season opener. He threw for 225 yards, I think, in the first, and in the next two games, he threw for 644 yards, 3 touchdowns. And then the 2 games after that, he threw for 187 yards and 2 interceptions. So, he was really inconsistent, and that's why he ended up losing the starting job at Michigan and then looked to transfer from there. So, I mean, the proof that he's had a good game makes me feel a little bit better, but the inconsistency is something Tennessee can't afford to have because that's all they've had for the past, since Josh Dobbs left.
Yeah, I mean, there's absolutely been no consistency. I mean, even as far as having a quarterback goes, you talked about if Josh Dobbs left. I mean, you went Dormandy and some Garantano, and then Dormandy got hurt, and Garantano was your guy. And then it's been a mess ever since. But inconsistent. Again, I just don't. I would be shocked if Joe Milton was brought in here. A lot of people I've seen it tweeted out that this is it shows the trust he has in the quarterback room. I don't know about that, but it is just weird with everything, with the things you need. But we're obviously going to see a focus on offensive side of the ball as long as Josh Heupel's coach. That's obviously going to be the case.
Right.
yeah, Tim Banks isn't going to win the war when it comes to scholarships when, if the defense needs them. So that's part of having a head coach that's also your offense coordinator and, what side of the ball he focuses on. So, when you look at it like that, it doesn't shock me that Tennessee's not going out and looking for linebackers or edge rushers or anything like that. But it's still just a weird thing because I think everybody knows where this roster stands. But regardless, I mean, Joe Milton's going to – that is the thing. He's going to have a chance to compete for the starting job. I mean, obviously, nobody's won it.
Right. Yeah, and, hopefully it can be a match with Josh Heupel and his track record with quarterbacks. Drew Lock had a big arm, but, when Josh Heupel took over at Missouri, it finally clicked. So, maybe we can see this Joe Milton, Josh Heupel offense click. Or whoever the quarterback is. Yeah. I just hope it clicks.
Desperately going to need it to click. We know it's not going to get done on the defensive side of the ball this year. Going to desperately need it from the offense. Let's roll into. We joked about it. This team playing everything, playing dodgeball, playing everything but football. Honestly, and you know what? From a coaching standpoint, there's something to it. Go out, keep the guys loose. Sometimes, you don't want to go to whatever basketball, football, baseball practice and play those sports. Sometimes you want to, after a workout, go have some fun. And it looks like after their workout on, I guess that was Monday. What day was that? Monday, they went down to the softball facility. And here's another good point. Winning is winning. And one of the only places that Tennessee has consistently won in the last decade has been at Sherry Parker Lee Stadium. So
that's true. Yeah,
maybe a little. Let's feel the mojo and go. Let's head down there and see if we can scrape up whatever's going on down there by the sewer plant. Make sure we pick up things at this stadium and not at the sewer plant.
That'd be nice.
Maybe trying to rub off a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, let's love on the weeklies. See if we can get some of that mojo over on the football side of things.
Yeah, they've got to be the winningest coaches at Tennessee. I mean, definitely on staff, correct?
Yeah, they have to definitely be the winningest co-coaches too, right? I don't know of another duo like that.
Because they were talking about how I don't remember what I was reading. It was probably during the pandemic, but because there's nothing else to write about.
A little bored.
Yeah, and it was talking about the amount of coaches that are either father son. Oh, you know what it was? It was that stuff with MTSU and Ralph and Karen Weekly. There's actually a lot of, I don't know about a lot of husband and wife coaches, but a lot of family coaches. Okay. Maybe not but yeah, they're probably the only co-head coaches.
I don't know a lot in college. I know the brothers in Campbell County do it, right? They do it for football.
Yeah, and I think they're co-head coaches, I believe. Yeah. But they also, their son, I believe, is an assistant coach for I think it's their son for the softball team. But yeah, Rick Barnes is obviously I'll say that now. I'm make sure I got all my bases covered. I mean, surely Rick Barnes is the winningest coach, right?
I don't know. How long have the Weeklies been there? I wouldn't even know where to even begin for another coach. They've been there so long.
Oh, yeah. No, I have no idea. Let's see. They've been there since 2002.
That's actually not as long as I thought it was going to be.
See, I was going to say as long as I can remember, and I wouldn't have remembered anything past probably 2010.
That's true, too.
So they've been to a lot of College World Series. They've hosted several regionals and super regionals. Which I think softball is a little bit different. I think they do softball kind of how they're doing baseball this year. Because I feel like I've seen Tennessee host some regionals when they've not played in them. Because I feel like I've seen games where I'm or series where I'm that Tennessee's not played in any of these. What is going on?
Yeah, I don't know that for sure. I don't know.
I don't either. I feel like I've seen. Also, this is going to be, I feel like a hot take. A lot of people are going to probably be Caleb, you're lying, and that's just not true. But softball, I think, obviously like at a high level of softball is one of the most fun sports to watch. It's why I think they need to lower. I know women's basketballs aren't going to like it, but maybe not lower it. But I think making it smaller, like making the field smaller, because it's just biological. Most women are, not as fast as men and not as strong as men. It makes the game faster and makes it it brings it up a level. I think women's college softball is one of the most fun sports to watch.
Yeah, I was watching. I was in Mississippi, and the only thing on at the restaurant I was at was Arkansas versus Missouri, and it popped up. Arkansas leads the country in home runs. I was about to say it was.
I feel like every Arkansas game I watch, they're hitting at least like 8 home runs.
Oh yeah, they hit like 4 in the first inning. I was like, oh my
it's
God.
Nuts.
Like every time they hit the ball, it was going over the fence.
Yeah. Yeah. And then to stack on top of that, there's some pitchers that can throw some nasty stuff in softball.
Yeah, it's gross.
It's insane. I don't think Tennessee had that same value. Tennessee had a couple home runs though. And I'm not talking about the softball team anymore. I've just flipped back to football if you can keep up. I know what the final of that coaches seniors game ended up being, but it was 11-0 at one point. And I think it was Blakely in left field just texting with his back turned. That's how much disrespect he had for that coaching staff.
Done with that. He's like, you're not going to hit it this far. I think Cody Burns got a hold of one, so at least they got on the board at some point.
Yeah, and some of those guys looked very. It's funny. I'm one of the guys that you put a baseball bat in your hand and look very unathletic. And I like to think I'm decently athletic, but it's something I've never done. And I played t-ball and maybe some baseball when I was really little, but I didn't play baseball. And I feel it's like a sport I've never done, so I feel so unathletic swinging a baseball bat. I'm like, This is a foreign game to me. It's not the same as a golf club. It is very weird. So it makes me feel better because there's some Division I athletes that I was like, you look stupid.
Terrible. But somebody who didn't look terrible was Trayvon Flowers.
He's a baseball player though.
Oh yeah. He went 3 for 3 with 3 home runs. And it's kind of cool that
Did they keep stats?
I think somebody just said that. Maybe that's not true at all. But he at least hit 2 in that video. There was at least 2 that he hit. But he was a Kentucky baseball commit before he committed to Tennessee football, and that's pretty cool. Right before the Kentucky series, you see him just hit some bombs, and he tweeted at Vol Baseball and said, "Give him a month." And
wasn't he supposed to be on the team?
Yeah, and Jeremy Pruitt did not let those guys come over to the baseball facility. So I think Parker Ball was another one of those guys who never made it.
Right. There are some baseball players on that team, which is not surprising. But
what about Cade Mays dropping a tank?
I was a little surprised by that, but also a guy that big in a softball field just kind of needs to make contact, and that thing's probably going.
He probably played a little baseball growing up. He was probably always the biggest kid, so he probably played first base and probably batted fourth. He was the kid in Little League who could actually swing 3 bats on the on deck circle.
Yeah.
That was Cade Mays.
Yeah, I'm not shocked that he hit a home run. But yeah, seriously, on a real note, it is good to see them having fun. I do think there's an emphasis on the videos we're seeing of them having fun. So I'm not willing to say, which we've talked to, Eric Kane even mentioned it. He can, the energy around the facility right now is different than it was with Jeremy Pruitt. But I still don't think it was a prison. So, and all this is going to be brought up when Heupel is inevitably let go. It's all going to be brought up about how they were having too much fun or weren't focused on football. So it's really just a double-edged sword, or not double-edged sword really, but it's just good to see him having fun. But it sucks that it's going to be used against Heupel eventually.
Yeah, having team bonding is a good thing, and I think it's important. I don't know how much that's up to Josh Heupel, but it definitely seems like Jeremy Pruitt didn't have enough of it for whatever reason. You can blame COVID, whatever else, but before COVID, it just didn't seem, and maybe that's because we just didn't see the videos and stuff like that, like we are with Josh Heupel. But yeah, like you said, there's definitely an emphasis on the team bonding, team having fun.
That is one thing I liked. I don't know if it was this episode, The Juice, the one that got released Sunday, or the one that got released the second to newest one. He talked about it. He was like, we're going to do things as a family, not just in the facility, but like, everywhere. And I think that's cool. And hopefully I think that's another thing too, is like when going gets tough. I mean, if you don't like the guy next to you, you're not going to fight with him. You're going to fold. And I don't know. I'm not saying that's what happened to the team last year, because it's the same team. So that, it's hard to change the whole attitude, flip the whole attitude. But I think it's a lot easier when it's your friend, it's your buddy next to you, not just a guy you happen to be on the same team with. And so I do like that mentality. I believe in that. I think that's a great thing. We'll see if I think it's easy to see on the field personally. Good team morale. And a lot of people, especially last year, because you're going, man, they just the culture is not there. And of course, guys are, the guys in the facility are like, no, the culture is fine. Like, that's what they were saying at the time. Like, there's nothing wrong with the culture. It's like, you can say that and you can even kind of believe that. But like what you're telling me with your body language, what you're telling me on the sidelines, what you're telling me in your play, like you're telling me the culture is not there.
Right.
And again, you can believe that, but if I'm seeing it, that means your teammates are seeing it, your coaches are seeing it, and eventually doubt starts to creep in. And I definitely don't believe everyone believed by the end of the season. I don't think that.
Right, and having like a quarterback get hit and no offensive lineman is there to pick up your quarterback that you block for like every single snap. We haven't seen this team face adversity yet, but I would like to think that doesn't happen this season.
I certainly hope not. I certainly hope not. And Jeff Harrison asks, you guys don't like Heupel. I can't speak for Landon. I don't dislike Heupel. I assume you're alluding to me making the jokes about him being gone in a few years. I don't know if that, I'm kidding. I hope he pans out. I like certain things that he's doing. Again, I know all these videos are like very carefully edited and filmed. But again, going back to the episode of The Juice, I love that he is like, and I think Jeremy Pruitt had some of this too. So it's not special to Josh Heupel, but he's talking to the team after either their scrimmage or I guess it's after their scrimmage, their first one in Neyland. And he's like that, like he's talking about the energy. He's like, the energy we played with today, it was unacceptable for this stadium. Like when we walk through that tunnel, the expectations on you as Tennessee football. So I think it's cool that he's bought in. He's clearly bought into like the Tennessee tradition. Yeah, and I think that's great. And I know I do like Heupel, and I'm obviously cheering for him as a Tennessee fan. I do know that this job is very. It takes a lot out of people. Mm-hmm. I don't think Butch Jones and Jeremy Pruitt were the best guys for the job when they were hired. I also am not convinced that Josh Heupel is the best guy for the job currently. That doesn't mean I don't think he'll be successful. I just think it's going to be very, very difficult for him to be successful. I also don't know if there was a right guy for the job for the state of the program right now.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I was he going to be my first pick? Absolutely not. And I didn't
even know he was an option.
Yeah, and when he was hired, I wasn't through the roof about it. But I'll be honest, I think he's really impressed me with the relationship side of things, with the media, with the players, things like that. Because what I read about him, that he doesn't like talking to the media. He hasn't recruited. And, I think it's still be determined on the recruiting aspect, but the fact that you're able to come in and basically swing and miss at some quarterback commits and then land a 4-star out of the state of Indiana, I think that's big. And, I don't see him. I think he's better with the media than Jeremy Pruitt, than Butch Jones.
Definitely Butch Jones, 100%.
Right.
I mean, the thing about I thought Jeremy Pruitt did okay at the beginning. I think, again, just this job takes a toll on people, on coaches. So I think as far as like, I think to be determined on whether he – because, I mean, I don't think – the reason I say Butch Jones is bad with the media is because he was always just phony. Like, nothing seemed real about him ever.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. We'll see if he's better than the last guy.
Yeah, I just think like I've been impressed every time he speaks because that's what I get when when people say you don't like the media. Usually it's because you're probably not good at it. But I don't get that vibe. I think he's just fine. You know, when he's doing press conferences or whatever, he seems to be doing a good job building relationships with players and you know, recruits and things like that. So I think he's just fine in that regard.
We'll find out after the first loss.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and that's a lot of it. Like, you know, we praise Jeremy Pruitt for everything. Even last summer, you know, he had that big recruiting stretch where we were freaking dominating. And you know, the first sign of adversity hits, and that, I guess, Georgia, but more so Kentucky is when you really saw it come to fruition, and it just was not great at all.
Right. Yeah. So we'll definitely see after the first loss. That's when I'll give my official. How does he handle the media?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it's not like it's not like he's never lost though. So like
no, but Knoxville media's got to be a little bit different than
it is.
Well, we can go look at the Orlando media. We can go watch some of his conferences, see some of his responses. Blake, if you know football.
Right.
We can see what he's got there. Maybe he is a guy that's talking about people falling on helmets and whatnot.
But apparently he is the guy that like will come by, and maybe other coaches did this too, but will come by and like just tell everybody thank you for being there. I think he comes by every desk in the mornings and says, "Hey, how are you? Good morning," things like that.
I'll say this: he's 100% a coffee guy. Like every time I've seen him in the building with videos and pictures, he's holding a cup of coffee, like a to-go cup of coffee too.
Yeah, and, like a hotel cup of coffee.
Yeah. So he's definitely the guy that's just like, get my morning coffee, make my morning rounds before I sit down. And I respect that guy. That's
every
office
kind of needs one.
Yeah, exactly.
And it just happens to be the head guy.
Dude, my dog, we're going to watch one day on this show. You guys are going to get to see my dog absolutely tear up my couch. And we're going to see if I can handle my cool. So see how I handle the losses. Okay.
Some adversity hits. We'll see your take on it.
I mean, I'm going to bury him in the couch when he does that. You all get to see my tackling form. Tackling few.
Tackling few.
So, hey, you mentioned recruiting, so let's jump into that.
Yeah, so recruiting news. I think the big news from today is, landing 4-star quarterback Taven Jackson out of Greenwood, Indiana. You know where that's at?
No clue.
Me either.
We can look it up.
Yeah, we can. Let's look that up.
Okay. I do know that Indiana is known for its football. The football talent it pumps out. So I'm aware of that.
Right. Yeah. Everybody knows all the Hoosier. It's a Hoosier state. It's
exactly.
All you think about is basketball. But apparently he's kind of a guy that was under the radar and kind of shot up some recruiting rankings here recently. He's got some offers from a lot of SEC schools: Auburn, Arkansas, Florida, Texas A&M. So teams like that, Missouri, Ole Miss. So I think if Ole Miss is willing to recruit you, I think Tennessee should probably be right there offensively. Because that's probably you're probably going after the same people to run that offense.
Right.
So he's 6'4", 195. Definitely needs to get it a little bit bigger. I think Joe Milton's like 240. So
240?
Yeah, he's a big dude.
And moving him to tight end? I saw that joke, or what I thought was a joke.
6'5", 243.
Jeez.
Taven Jackson is 6'4", 195. He's number 326 player in the country. number 18 pro style, number 8 player in the state of Indiana. That's the 247 composite score. I think he's number 7 pro style quarterback on Rivals. So wherever you get your information, there you go. But yeah, so
it's right outside Indianapolis, by the way. So
okay, maybe there is some football talent there.
I don't know. I feel like we got to credit Peyton for that one. You know,
you do, yeah. I mean, any tie you can get with Tennessee, there it is. There's your tie.
Exactly.
But I think this is a big commit because you definitely want to land a quarterback in every class. But I think it's early enough where you can kind of build around this kid, and he is your third commit, so definitely want to get. You definitely have to build around him. But I think if he's able to kind of get that peer recruiting going, I think this can really jumpstart this class. Not saying it's going to be a top 10 class or anything like that, but you definitely don't want to be sitting. I think you're 12th right now in the SEC, so want to see that boosted up a little bit, and because. I think Georgia already has 12 commits, so you got a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be. I mean, yeah, I'm curious to see when this. I guess you're gonna see more commitments. Start kind of piling in when guys are able to get on campus, and it is especially for a new staff. It's got to be hard to kind of recruit right now and get a ton of interest. So hopefully, when people start getting on campus, it'll pick up a little bit.
Yeah, and I think part of that rebuilding process has to do with, they had to build everything. I mean, their whole recruiting office was fired. Yeah. So, I mean, you get here and you don't even have a recruiting office to really get that.
I guess that's a silver lining, though. If any time you weren't going to have a recruiting office, wouldn't it be when you can't really recruit much?
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point. I don't think you ever want to go with that one, but yeah, if there was a time to go with that one, yeah, maybe that was a time. But yeah, I think that was probably difficult to deal with, getting all those guys in here and get them ready to go. Ooh.
Yeah. Jeff asks is real quick, and then we'll get into. We got some questions about quarterbacks and whatnot. But Jeff asks, is Middleton gone?
You still hear me?
Yeah, sorry. We I got 2 of you in here somehow, so I don't know what happened.
Can you see me?
I can see you. We can all see you.
Okay, great.
Don't do anything too crazy.
Gotcha. There it is. Okay. I've heard that rumor, and I think he might be.
Okay. Interesting. Then we also, what's up, Chris? Good to have you in tonight as always. You said, he said, quick question with that crowded QB room, who's the best bet to leave? For me, I think it's, if you look at like what this is coming from what we saw in the, well, first off, Hendon Hooker just transferred in. I don't see him leaving. Obviously Joe Milton just came in.
And if he does, he will have to move down. So
gotcha. And then, so I think when you look at it from I just don't see Brian Maurer doing all, staying here through the coaching change and leaving, especially for Brutus. I'm going to murder you, kid. Especially for you, if you want to be on camera, come and say, hey, if he's going to fit into this offense better than he did the last, whether he plays or not. So I just don't realistically see him leaving. So if we're going to have to pick, if I have to pick one quarterback to leave, I think for me, it's Harrison Bailey.
I think for me, it's Brian Maurer. I just think like he's flirted with leaving so often. I mean, at some point, is it finally just going to happen?
According to him, he hasn't.
Yeah, that's bullcrap.
Yeah, no, I agree. But to be fair, Harrison Bailey's dad said that if Jeremy Pruitt wasn't here, Harrison Bailey wouldn't be either.
I mean, that's probably true with a lot of these kids.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe Harrison Bailey's up there. It depending on who it is. I just have a hard time believing, and maybe Brian Maurer stays, but I think he's probably my 4th quarterback.
Yeah, he's probably number 4 for me too. Again, the reason I keep Brian Maurer on campus is because I think he would have left if he was going to leave already. I think Heupel's offense is better for him than Pruitt's, or Chaney's, whatever you want to call it. So I think now. I didn't even kind of think of this. Chris just mentioned it. He would either go with Maurer or Salter. I think Salter's already gone. I don't think he's going to return with Joe Milton coming in. That's just speculation, by the way, for those probably thinking if you want to be like, hey, Caleb said Salter is gone. I'm not saying he is gone. I'm saying I think like he's going to try. I think he'll be somewhere else come fall.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not looking great. But hopefully they're reinstated soon, and hopefully those kind of getting off on the wrong foot kind of is put to rest, and they can get things going. Because, I think Salter is a special talent and somebody you want in your quarterback room. But also being a student athlete, like you have to have it between the ears. And if you don't, then you're not going to last. And so I hope he's learned from his mistake or, whatever happened. We don't know the exact story, but, hopefully that's kind of put to rest. He's able to make amends with his staff. And I just have a hard time because, like his dad got sick. I know the University of Tennessee really stepped in and, helped them out. I don't know. I hope it works out. Either way it goes, I hope it works out.
No, I agree.
But yeah, if I'm Josh Heupel, I definitely want to try to have a redo on starting this relationship because I think Salter is a really good quarterback and one that would thrive in this offense.
No, I agree. Dustin Price asked, what do you think about this QB Jackson that just committed to us? We actually just got done talking a little bit about that. And we'll have tomorrow or late tonight, we'll have a brief kind of breakdown of that for you. I think as far as getting a good class leader, it's probably a pretty good pickup. Hopefully you can kind of build off of that momentum in a 4-star and a pretty talented quarterback that's at the – you mentioned this. He's kind of at the – you got him as the stock was rising. I think he'll have some more offers roll in before it's all said and done, but just starting to pick up steam. So I think pretty – we'll see. To be determined, but seems to be a pretty good first commitment from Heupel.
Yeah, I think he's a good athlete, and his brother is also a really good athlete at Indiana. He's a forward, actually. We talked about how Indiana's just pumping out the football talent, but his brother's actually a forward on the Indiana Hoosier basketball team. So, maybe the genes are there. He just chose to pick another sport. Exactly.
All right, perfect. Anything else you want to talk about with recruiting?
Addison Nichols. He's a 4-star offensive lineman, number 103 player in the country. Put Tennessee in his top 5 with Florida, Georgia, Ohio State, USC. It's good to get that one. I think that's one of Tennessee's top targets in this 2022 class. He's got some Tennessee ties in there as well. So, Addison Nichols, the 6'4", 265 pounds from Norcross, Georgia. That is an area that pumps out football talent.
Yeah, it is.
So, that's all I got for recruiting.
Awesome. Well, let's talk some baseball before that. I want to talk about God bless. What's the new assistant basketball coach's name?
Gainey?
No.
Clark.
Rob Clark. I was about to say, I don't think is it Rob Clark?
Rod
Clark. Would you have guessed he was 28 years old?
He's 28?
I believe it was him. Now I need to look. But when they met with media today, he said him and that was one of the things him and John Fulkerson first spoke about is that he's only 4 years older than him.
That's weird. I didn't get to watch this. I've been traveling all week, so I'm a little bit behind on all the.
Okay, his profile picture, like his headshot, looks younger. Still wouldn't have guessed 28, but yeah, it's he was born in 1993, so he's just 4 years older than John Fulkerson, and that's just crazy to me.
I mean, he's only 2. Yeah, he's 2 years older than us.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So, I would have not guessed
good
that.
for him to be getting like just climbing the ranks that quick.
It's
pretty cool.
He went from Sunrise to Illinois, Chicago to Austin Peay, now to Tennessee. So, he's definitely climbed quickly and just 4 years old. John Fulkerson, Brick Barnes already said it. John Fulkerson's a lifer. So assuming he'll be older than the coach, and that'll be a fun time.
Yeah, I mean, he just graduated from college in 2015.
Yeah, that's it's pretty wild. So, I wouldn't even guess he was 28 just by looking at him. So that was wild to hear. I was like, really?
I mean, you want a person that's able to relate to players. I mean, there you go.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Okay, so sorry, but let's go. Yeah, let's talk Vol baseball now. Obviously, I don't want to dwell on it. We don't need to dwell on it. We're positive mental attitude around here, PMA, and but there was a hiccup in kind of rolling, especially late in the season or later in the season. That loss to Lipscomb last night. I think the thing that sucks is that Tennessee had his chances. I think total 8 hits for the game. Had some guys in scoring position, and just couldn't finish it out. And that's one thing we've kind of talked about on the show quite a bit is that they can get guys on base, but they can't always bring them in. And they also had that. You talked about the errors. Tennessee's got to cut back on the errors. I mean, just had one last night. It's not an abundance of them, but had that second inning that got away from them.
Yeah, just out the gate, just didn't have a great start, and they just didn't have anything at the plate to really make up for it. You mentioned the guys left on base. They left 13 guys on base last night, and you're not going to win very many games doing that. And Tennessee found themselves where they got runners on, but they were, and then they had 8 strikeouts. I remember when they had the bases loaded, or they had 2 runners on, they get a strikeout, they walk a batter, so they had bases loaded with 1 out. We had an infield fly, and then we struck out. So I mean, when guys are in scoring position, you got to put it in place somehow, some way.
Right.
You got to do your job, and Tennessee just wasn't able to really get anything going at the plate. They were uncharacteristic a little bit and kind of chasing some balls they don't normally chase. And I mentioned Lipscomb didn't put it away. They scored their first 4 in the first 2 innings and didn't get anything else. They only had 6 hits in the game. Tennessee had 8. But just couldn't. That second inning just got away from them a little bit and weren't able to make up for it.
Right. And but Tennessee will look to rebound this weekend, actually starting tomorrow night instead of Friday with Kentucky at home. That's it's going to be a big series for Tennessee as they look to really keep rolling. They close out. We have Arkansas and South Carolina to close out. South Carolina struggled this year, haven't they? I don't mean to get ahead of everything, but
I mean I think they swept Florida. So I mean, all these SEC teams are really good teams. It's hard to really gauge where each one of them is at because you can get hot at any point. Because look at Tennessee, the last 3 innings of that Texas A&M series, they scored 15 runs. They scored 1 run in 9 innings against Lipscomb. So I mean, anybody can get hot, anybody can get cold. I think Kentucky's a pretty decent team. They got swept by Mississippi State. They swept Auburn, won their series against Missouri, and lost 1-2 to LSU, and then lost 2-1 to Georgia, and then they beat Alabama 2-1.
Yeah.
So Tennessee did the same thing against Alabama. They did struggle in their midweek game as well, and they were down, I think, 4-0 or 4-1 at one point against Eastern Kentucky and end up winning 7-6. Yeah, kind of a weird start this year. You always see Chad Dallas on the mound on Friday night, but now you get to see him a day earlier on Thursday. And in the Lipscomb game, it is what it is. You can't dwell on it. You just didn't have the bats going. You'll have your normal lineup. You'll have your ace on the mound on Thursday. I think Tennessee will be just fine. But definitely, want to clean up the errors. And then when guys are in scoring position, you got to get the bat on the ball somehow, some way.
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely. And you want to go in and get series wins, obviously important. Sweep would be nice. But Tony Vitello mentioned it. If the guys don't really lock it down, play like they did last night, it's going to be really, really tough to beat this. You mentioned it. SEC play is going to be tough no matter who it is. So we'll see. I'm excited for a little Thursday night baseball. That's abnormal. So I might be able to watch all 3 games now.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah,
who knows? Something will probably happen with the ESPN app, and I won't be able to. But
and Kentucky's kind of been the surprise of the SEC this season. I mean, obviously Tennessee's probably up there too, but they're picked to finish last in the East, and here they are 9-9 in conference play and 25-13 on the season. So no one really expected that out of Kentucky. They have a really good first baseman. I think he's batting around 370, something like that, and leads them in home runs with 14. So definitely want to keep him inside the park. That'd be nice. And, Chad Dallas is going to shove it on Thursday. So if I got tickets this weekend, for sale. So if you know of anybody or if you guys need some, just let me know, and I'll be happy to sell you those at a good price.
There you go.
Better than you get online.
Holler at Landon if you need tickets.
Yep.
There you go.
Section 80, row 15. There you go.
Nice. Now we know.
There you go.
Now you know how to forge them. You guys know what to forge.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk NFL draft props. Let's do it. NFL draft tomorrow night. I'm going to be honest. This is probably the least. I don't even know if I'm going to watch it because this is the least I've read or paid attention to an NFL draft in a long, long time. I probably will watch it because, Tennessee baseball will be going tomorrow night. I was going to say there's not anything else on I'm going to watch. But I'll probably watch that on my phone. But so I'll probably watch it. But I just don't looking at the first off, I don't think there's any good values in the draft props that I've looked at. So I'm curious to hear what you have.
Okay.
Because the one that I thought I was going to get at a good value is Devontae Smith going top 10, which I don't necessarily think will happen. That's why I'm not going to pick it. It's plus 105. But originally before I checked it, I was like, I'm going to go Devontae Smith going top 10 because it's probably going to be a good value. But it's not good. That's not good enough value for me to go pick it.
So I actually love Devontae Smith, and
at 105 plus 105.
See, I didn't pick it at 105. I got it at under 11.5.
Okay, so but what are the odds? So you got him at under 11.5. So you have him going.
Yeah, it's minus 112 or something, I think.
Wait, is that going top 11.5 or after 11.5?
So that's top 11.5.
Okay. Then that you probably like. So you'd probably like the
top 10.
Top 10 at plus 105.
Also, yes, but there's that one kind of in me that thinks maybe the Giants at 11 get him.
Yeah, and that's no, I agree. I just,
I mean, I know people love Jamar Chase and they love throwing him out there with the Bengals and Jamar Chase, or I'm sorry, with Joe Burrow, but Joe Burrow isn't going to be your quarterback if you don't get somebody to protect him. So I like them picking Penny Sewell at number 5. I think, I hope they just don't go with let's reunite him with Jamar Chase. Protect your quarterback.
Yeah, surely they don't go. Yeah, surely not.
I mean, he's not going to be able to throw. I think Jamar Chase is a special talent. I don't think he's better than Jalen Waddle or Devontae Smith, in my honest opinion.
No, and they have him going top 10. I mean, almost a lock.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, they have him, the Detroit Lions at 7. Could probably pick him. They need everything, so.
Yeah, they could go anybody.
Right. And also, so that's kind of my 2 that I like, and I also like Devontae Smith going before Jalen Waddle. I think it's plus 170 something.
Okay. I I like Justin Fields going under 7.5.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think he gets. I think it's kind of dumb. I don't know how the whole epilepsy thing. I don't know much about the diagnosis. Like, is it completely new to him, or has he had it and just been diagnosed with it? I don't know. I think it's all a little. First off, I don't know much about it, so that's the first. But it just seems like it's enough to scare NFL teams off because NFL teams are fucking stupid. So yeah, I think he drops.
So I love the Trey Lance to Denver Broncos until
you found out the 49ers were going to take him.
Yeah, 6 hours ago when they traded for Teddy, or they got Teddy Bridgewater. Because now they're not going to get a quarterback. You got Drew Lock and you got Teddy Bridgewater. You're not going to pick a quarterback. There's no way. So I lost that one already.
Oh, I thought they were I thought you were talking about. So apparently now the 49ers, which I think it was always between Mac Jones and Trey Lance.
Right.
Then I think now it's like, it's probably going to be Trey Lance because apparently, oh my God, Kyle Shanahan's the only one that wants Mac Jones.
Well, doesn't he have the final say?
I don't know. I mean, it depends on how your organization's set up.
I guess so.
Because doesn't Jerry Jones have the final say in Dallas?
Yeah, probably. I don't know. But, man, either one of those guys, I don't like at 3, so I would trade the heck out of that pick.
Yeah. No, I think that's what a lot of people
if you're not getting the top 2, I would just trade back because you can probably get them back.
But I think if you – the thing is, though, is like you can get outside of Trevor Lawrence. I think Zach Wilson is the dumbest number 2 pick of all time, but he's obviously going to go at number 2 because the New York Jets are the dumbest organization of all time. Zach Wilson's not a number 2 overall pick. Baker Mayfield wasn't a number 1 overall pick. It's so stupid. So, but they're going to take him.
It does show you how important that position is. Like even somebody that like shouldn't be up at the top, like Jared Goff.
Yeah, but let me ask you this:
terrible number 1 pick.
Let me ask you this. Let's go. Okay, so let's take Trevor Lawrence out of this equation. Let's take Mac Jones, and I think Justin Fields. Okay, so take those 3 quarterbacks out of the equation. So you don't have the top 3 picks because those are probably the best 3 quarterbacks in the draft. Anybody else you want to throw out there?
I mean, I don't necessarily disagree like the Zach Wilson, but I think he is better than maybe you give him credit for. And that's just me saying that. I mean, I could be completely wrong too.
I think Zach Wilson's a good quarterback. I don't think he's a number 2 overall pick to any team.
Yeah. I agree with that.
I think the top 3 quarterbacks in the draft are Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, and Mac Jones. Trevor Lawrence at number 1.
I don't disagree. I don't agree with that.
Who do you have?
I would say like Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, and Justin Fields. I wouldn't say Mac Jones.
That's fine. I mean, okay. So you can take. I don't even want to take Zach Wilson out of this yet. Zach Wilson I would probably say Zach Wilson's better than Teddy Bridgewater. But I think the Denver Broncos are a great example of if you can get a better quarterback for better value and go build around them. Like, can you be like? So the Browns that take Baker at number 1 overall. I'd have to go back and look at that year, but could they have built around him and gone and got a quarterback in free agency at better value? I think it's certainly possible. I don't know for sure. It depends. It's dependent on what you have. But I mean, I think if you're I don't hate the Broncos picking up Teddy Bridgewater because they're not going to get one of the top 3 quarterbacks. And I don't think, or you can even say top 4 and put Zach Wilson in there because I don't know if Teddy Bridgewater is better than Zach Wilson. But is he better than Trey Lance? I think it's certainly possible. So I mean, I don't know. It's just, yes, the quarterback position is very, very important, but I think it's only important if you have like a stud. Now, to be fair, we're not talking about a year. See, the Browns could have gotten
Patrick Mahomes.
No, well, yes, but they could have gotten
Sam Darnold.
Yeah, Sam Darnold. That's what I'm talking about.
Lamar Jackson.
Not a quarterback. I'm not talking about a quarterback.
Oh,
they
sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. They could have gotten Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, they could have.
I think he would have added more value to your organization than Baker Mayfield, and I thought that at the time.
Yeah, it's just it's tough to pick that position at even at 5. Everybody's like, "Oh God, y'all are morons."
But
it sucks when he missed the entire season because that was their whole team.
Yeah, but that could have happened to a quarterback too. It was a knee injury. I mean, that's the thing. So, I don't know. I just think again, that's the bottom line. What you said too, it is an important position. It's hard to gauge. No one's going to help the Jets. That's probably the hardest thing about number 2. And saying Zach Wilson's not a good pick for the Jets, but I don't know if there is a good pick for the Jets.
Right. I mean, they get rid of their best player every year. So
I know I knew it, and I know it now. Sam Darnold was not a good pick for the Jets.
Oh no.
I think Zach Wilson's a better prospect than Sam Darnold. I'll say that.
But then again, who would have been a good pick? Baker Mayfield wouldn't have helped the Jets.
No.
I don't even maybe Patrick Mahomes because he's that special. But even look at Deshaun Watson. Yeah, he's really good, but he's not making them a playoff. He's not making the Texans a playoff contender. Right,
but aren't the Jets a good example of what I just said in terms of because if you go out and get Saquon Barkley, it's easier for a running back because a running back doesn't need a phenomenal. A phenomenal offensive line obviously makes you better, but they don't need a phenomenal offensive line to be super impactful. Whereas a wide receiver needs a quarterback who can throw to him, which needs a line to block for. It's you can go out and build a team and go get. You could have gotten the same quality out of a free agent as you did Sam Darnold.
Yeah, I'm looking at Kyle Pitts, and I'm I don't know how you pass on that.
Yeah, that's a great point.
That dude's a freak. I know tight end is, especially at the University of Tennessee, it's just a position we don't utilize at all. Hopefully this year we do. But he is a freak.
Yeah.
And tight end is his position, but he's a wide receiver. He's Travis Kelce.
Right.
So I have a hard time passing a guy like that up. I have a hard time passing an offensive lineman, especially if you need an offensive lineman. That's why I don't get the Cincinnati Bengals going with Jamar Chase. Is you got T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, you have some decent receivers, but you don't have an offensive line. And then not having an offensive line got your quarterback knocked out for the remainder of the season. So pick an offensive lineman.
Yeah, I think that's a great point to that. And it goes into how you build your team. You're not,
God, why are we not GMs, man?
Exactly. We know everything. But yeah, I think with you talk about how do you, and it's different for every team. What do you have? What are your needs? But yeah, is there a, what are they, 5th? The Bengals?
Yeah, they're 5th. Yes.
What is there I think at that point you've got to say what's best, who's best available for our needs, because I don't know if there's a wide receiver that, like you said, is too good to pass up.
Yeah, it would Kyle Pitts would have to be there,
and for me, if I'm talking about that wide receiver too good, and I know the immeasurables aren't there, for me the wide receiver that's too good to pass up, if there is one, it is Devontae Smith.
Absolutely.
It's not Jamar Chase. It's not even Jalen Waddle, who's also ridiculous. So if that was going to be my pick, that's my wide receiver, not Jalen Waddle or Jamar Chase. I like what you said about Kyle Pitts. Yeah, Kyle Pitts I'd probably take, because I think just having a really good tight end completely changes your offense. But yeah, other than that, yeah, probably going with an offensive lineman.
And a lot of people are doubting Devontae Smith because of his size, and do you not look at Tyreek Hill and just be I wish we would have picked him up in the second round, because everybody passed him up in the second round too.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to compare the SEC to the NFL, because it's two different ballgames, but he wasn't doing it in FCS.
Right.
Come on, guys. The speed, the speed's there. A lot of the physicality's there. It's come on. Don't overthink it. And he won a Heisman.
Yeah, he might not have the speed that Jalen Waddle has, but his route running and his catch radius and things like that. It's he's a top, dare I say, 10 wide receiver in the NFL if whoever he goes to.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I hope he gets taken early. We'll see. I think he's going to fall just because of his size, and I slightly understand it, but at the same time, I'm like, I've also watched him play.
Because like most NFL teams play a lot of man on the outside,
right?
And if your route running isn't good, you're never going to beat man coverage,
right?
Unless you're just running a go route. But like, this guy can run it all, and just freaking like, yeah, he might be small, but he's gonna with his route running ability, he destroys man coverage.
Yeah, and then
you saw that in the national title game. I mean, Ohio State had a really good secondary, and he freaking destroyed them.
He destroyed every secondary they played. It was incredible, the things he did to every secondary.
That's true.
He used them. And then we're talking about like watching tape. It's like, what's the Penn State edge rusher that's going to go? They didn't even have a sack last year. It's like, come on. Like,
Micah Parsons?
Micah Parsons, yeah. It's like, come on.
Yeah, so he's an inside linebacker, but still, if you should have.
Is that it? Is that who's? I mean, it's got to be him if it's a Penn State guy. I thought he was an edge rusher.
Maybe there is another edge rusher, but
no, I think it's got to be Micah Parsons. I mean, I think it is because that's the guy that's like going to go top 5 or something. Not top 5, but go high. God, it's so dumb. Sorry, we totally got away from the best props, but I mean, for me, there's not a ton of high value props other than the ones that we mentioned. I did put money with you, Devontae Smith, to go before Jalen Waddle. I just placed that one. I did go Justin Fields under 7.5. Okay. That one I'm definitely going. I'm really torn on the Trey Lance one. I want to go over 7.5, but if the 49ers don't take him, or if the 49ers don't take him, he's definitely going under 7.5. So
he's definitely going under 7.5.
Yeah, I don't think he gets picked up by any teams other than the 49ers.
So he goes over 7.5.
Sorry. Yes. Sorry. So okay. If Shanahan has his way, he's going over 7.5. Sorry.
Yep, I agree with that. Also, I saw a lot of people saying that Tampa Bay might pick a quarterback at number 32.
Interesting.
And if they do, it would be probably Kyle Trask. So if you want a plus 800 bet, it's Kyle Trask going in the first round. So
why would they take it? Is there just not going to be any high value picks there? But I mean, you're not going to get a high value quarter. I don't know. That's so weird.
I guess I don't know. I'm with you. I would not do it. But maybe they think they got someone with Kyle Trask. I think Kyle Trask is. I don't think Mac Jones is that much better than Kyle Trask. I'll say that.
I thought Mac Jones was kind of a joke going into this year, and I thought he had. If he played on, which I mean, it's hard. He had a ton of talent around him, but I think he had. I mean, so did Joe Burrow.
Sure, yeah.
The only thing Mac Jones had that Joe Burrow didn't was a really good offensive line. That's it.
Yeah, and he had a pretty good offensive line. It wasn't as good as Mac Jones.
No, and I guess too. I don't know. I just think Mac Jones was very, very impressive in his senior year, and he doesn't get as much credit for pretty much doing the same thing Joe Burrow did.
His pro day was pretty bad.
His pro day was terrible, like hilariously terrible.
Yeah.
You remember pros versus Joes?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of looked like it was the
Joes.
There was a pro Mac and a Joe Mac, and we saw Joe Mac.
Yeah, it was not good. And like, if what we're hearing is true about the 49ers, like they were all for it until that point.
Really? I didn't know. I heard that.
Yeah, apparently like that. So that could cost that man millions of dollars for even having a pro day.
How many quarterbacks don't have pro days after that? If that was the defining point, it's like you're gonna Jesus Christ, dude, how is JG on a football team? Like you go one bad practice or one bad performance and that sends you away? Like, come on.
Right. I agree.
Good God. That's hilarious. I mean, it was bad. Like that one, I was like, God, I'd been kind of talking up Mac Jones, and now I don't know if he's a number 3 overall pick good, but I think he is. I think he's. But when I talk about top 3 quarterbacks, it's also hard because like Justin Fields, who knows what's going to happen with him because of this medical stuff. What if he falls? Like surely he gets touched in the first round.
Oh yeah.
But what if Tampa would have fell to Tampa? What if Tampa drafted? Let's just pretend that all this medical crap, because who knows? The NFL is stupid. Well, not completely stupid because they do. At the end of the day, he does have to pass a physical. But I would assume they would know that before he drafted him. But what if, because the NFL is that way, he fell to 32? Do you draft Kyle Trask or do you draft Justin Fields?
That's a gold mine. And hopefully the Bears are looking at that and it's just like, holy crap, let's trade and get something. Because they need a freaking quarterback. Because that franchise, like, you're never going to be anything without a good quarterback. So, I think the Bears could use one. So I think if you see a guy like Fields or even Trey Lance or somebody like that or Mac Jones falling that far, you jump all over that. Don't let it get to Tampa is what I'm saying.
No, yeah, for sure. I don't think it will. It's fun to talk about it.
Yeah.
Especially because like he's dropped, minimum 7 spots and since that got released about the epilepsy stuff. So
insane.
It's pretty nuts. Yeah. All right. Oh, whoops. Did I lose you? Nope. We're good. Okay. All right. Do we have any more questions? Try to catch them all as we go. We have any tweeted before the show?
I didn't see. I don't think so.
Okay. Stupidity is an epidemic.
Stupidity. Oh.
I don't know if I have one. I do kind of have one. Did you hear? Hold on. Let me make sure I've got this right.
Mine's the Las Vegas Raiders.
What did they do this time?
Well, they tweeted I can breathe.
Oh God! And I think, did we talk about that? I thought we talked about this. And what's his name? Mark Davis. I don't remember. I've talked about it with somebody. Mark Davis like doubled down on it, like acting like they'd get a pass because it was his idea. He's like, no, I'm the one who said to send the tweet. And it's like, that doesn't make it better. You're still an idiot.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And then I think it was George Floyd's family came out and said, no, like, it's okay. We're glad he did that. And I'm like, guys, it was used at an NYPD Back the Blue rally about the Eric Garner case too. So like, you don't have full rights to that. It's just so stupid. Also, I've always been behind this. You don't make graphics for things like that.
Right.
Like Tennessee was making graphics for the coronavirus. You don't make graphics for things like that. Just don't tweet. If you're a sports team and something like that happens and you feel the need to tweet, don't
do it.
Interns should and could lose their job for it, and they should. It's stupid.
I feel like they tweeted something else too.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
Maybe I don't know.
I'm sure they did.
It's just
so annoying.
It's not great. Not great.
No.
I love that the first tweet underneath it is like the guy saying, "Excuse me, what the."
What about Brett Favre too? Always having something to say about something. Like, I'm sure he said, I don't know. It's always so dumb.
Brett
he
Favre?
always has the dumbest takes about stuff like this. Just anything.
Is he like a analyst?
No, I think he has a podcast though.
Oh, does he? Okay.
I think so. Like, I think he has somewhere that he can spout off really dumb takes often.
Okay. Does Jay Cutler have a show or anything like that? I feel like that's a guy who just needs something.
I don't know if he does. Who's his ex-wife? Kristen Cavallari. I don't know how you say her name.
Yeah, something like that.
She had like a reality TV show, so like he was on TV like often for a while before they were.
I bet he was so weird.
Oh yeah, he's the weirdest dude ever. It's great. I love it. I don't have any more. I don't have any stupidities. I had one, but it's not that stupid. I don't want to sound stupid, so I'm not gonna say it. I try to avoid stupidity myself. I'm not saying I'm always successful, but I do try to avoid it.
So this guy gave us this restaurant to go to in Tupelo, Mississippi, because that's where we stayed at the other night. So
Sounds terrible already.
We're like, okay, well, I guess we'll go to this place. So we went there. So he told us like, oh, dude, it's so good. You got to go there. It's great place. He didn't tell us that that's the only place to eat
in Tupelo,
Mississippi. we went to the front desk of the hotel and we're like, hey, do y'all have like any breweries or like anywhere like that? And they're like, and they named off that restaurant that we just went into was the only place.
Is this the place that you were like iffy about? And they were like, so what do you want to eat? Is that place? Or no, that was in your last trip, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was in Arkansas.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, SEC country is a wild place.
If anybody's listening right now that wants to fund us going to sketchy ass restaurants in all of SEC country during football season, just let me know. We'll go. I would love to do that. We'll do a review at every restaurant.
But this place in Tupelo, if you're ever out in Tupelo, Neon Pig.
It was good.
It was.
Are
good.
you just saying it so people experience it?
No, it was good. They apparently the guy who owns it is like are they, I guess, farmers? Yeah, I guess it is a farmer. And they I don't know how you even say this. They bring their own meat and they like cook it like
they slaughter the pig like
it's
in
like
front of you.
Yeah, exactly.
You pick the pig out.
It's like a deli restaurant.
You have to look the pig in the eye and be like, "That's you. You're my bitch."
You get to pick one. You have to catch it yourself, tackle it, everything. It's like cross-eyed cricket, but with pigs.
Yeah, exactly. That's an experience. I think. Yeah. Okay, that's great. We're actually going to open a restaurant like that. Where like you can eat whatever you want. You just have to kill it, and we'll fix it up for you. Yeah, right here, fresh.
And it's a great like tool. Like you have to learn how to like
kill something.
Right. Like Naked and Afraid. Like you have to know how to do that stuff. Just in case you're ever naked and afraid somewhere.
Yeah, I don't understand the premise of that show. I know your wife loves it. You get naked and lost and then try to find your way home.
Yeah. I don't is it coming one with nature? I just don't understand why we have to be naked.
Yeah, I think they just ran out of things to do, and they're like, we could do Survivor, but naked. It's like a 12-year-old pitched the idea. They're like, hey, tell us your favorite TV show. He's like, I love Survivor, but it would be awesome if the girls were naked. And they're like, okay, but the guys got to be naked too. And he was like, that's fine.
Yeah, I guess it's like Survivor and sex appeal. Yeah, you gotta have that, and every show has it. Every great show has it.
It's good. That's a good point. It's a good point.
So yeah, good for them. That's a great marketing tool. I didn't think about that, but
definitely something a 12-year-old pitched. Like
yeah, and
no adult like. If an adult did do that, they were not being serious. But the producer was like, "I love it."
Nakedness, and like most of the time, you see their butt, and it's like just bumps from all the mosquitoes that eat these people alive during their time.
Golly, what other shows can we do naked? Anything naked.
I don't. This is going down the wrong path.
I don't know. I mean, this is it feels like the right path to me.
We were on Stupidity and Epidemic, and here we are.
I'm trying not to be stupid. I told you that. Yeah, that's all I've got. Other than definitely someone fund our SEC trip. If nothing else, I would just get really drunk and it'd be funny. So yeah. So yeah, you got to get us a driver too, so we can drink between stops.
This place did have it was just like not a cool, it was a fridge kind of thing. Like when you see at the grocery store with the Coke bottles in it.
Right.
Is that a fridge? Is that called a fridge?
Say that again?
Or a cooler? Like, at the grocery store, like at the cash registers, they have the cooler or fridge.
Yeah, fridge. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Is it called a fridge or a cooler?
I think 6 one, half a dozen the other. I believe.
Okay. It was one of those things. I didn't want to think it was. I didn't want you to think it was like a Yeti cooler that you go like lift the top and get these beers out. But they had like you just got your own, like a single.
Okay.
And they had summer shandy, so I was all for it. I was like, okay, this place has my heart.
We gotta get you some better tasting beer.
I mean, I drink beer, but it's like that was a really good one. It's the best beer of all time.
I don't beer shame, so that's fine. But we gotta get you some better beer.
That's beer shaming.
That's not beer shaming. That's just looking out for you, guys. I appreciate y'all listening. Join us on Sunday. Tom TBD. We'll let you guys know we're doing that. We will be recapping Tennessee and Kentucky baseball and talking about what you want to talk about. So come ready to talk.
Get it going. Hopefully we're celebrating a Vols sweep. I want to get that broom out, man. It'd be nice.
It's collecting dust, isn't it? Haven't been a sweep in a while.
Yeah.
It's just kind of its job, I guess. But
right, yeah, because I don't actually sleep. That's why I buy a Roomba. Or a Eufy, whatever it is. Guys, good luck. Go Vols. Have a good rest of your week. Finish it out. We're almost to Friday. We're on the downslope, right?
Yeah, we're on the downslope.
That's all we got. We're bringing the boat in, and we